Hello again, everyone. I hope we're all doing extremely well out there. And the fact is, it's been a very long time since I did a Blu-ray news video because I've been very backed up working on my video for The Extras, which I've been promising for months and months and months, and it's been finally released. If you haven't checked it out already, go check it out after I finish doing this entire video here. But very much a late announcement here is from Universal Pictures announcing the last voyage of the Demeter coming out on DVD and Blu-ray. Now, I've been kind of watching Universal's sort of release strategy, especially for genre pictures. Been kind of holding the 4Ks back. They're not announcing them outright. So, like, look at the Black Phone, which recently got a 4K release, but it is sort of a manufacturer on demand time. They kind of press a limited number of discs, and depending on the demand, they'll go out and maybe press out another 100 or so discs or something else like that. So a lot of things have been kind of put out on Blu-ray, and then probably see how successful they are. If they are financially successful in the box office, maybe they'll put it off for later on, something else like that. So look at stuff they put out last year, like the Firestarter remake or Beast, the Idris Elba sort of nature thriller film. They got Blu-ray releases, but not gotten 4Ks at this point in time. So they're kind of gauging certain things, how successful they were in general, financially and stuff like that. If it's kind of worth going off and giving a 4K later on. So they're kind of in that type of thing. And Last Voyage of the Demeter, even though I very much kind of enjoyed it, wasn't successful at the box office. Very much was a big loss. But with this coming out next Tuesday, I'm very much interested to grab the disc and produce maybe a short video on the film, because I was kind of interested in maybe doing it back then, but I really wanted to kind of give it a second watch and probably have much more things at my disposal in terms of more footage, behind the scenes information, stuff like that on the film, to really give you a much fuller type of video that I could produce in a much better way. So kind of looking forward to grabbing that next Tuesday, because it's going to have a featured commentary from the director and producers, an alternate opening and deleted scenes. It'll also, with that sort of commentary, it's going to have a VFX featurette, a Dracula reimagined featurette, and a making of featurette. So, pretty substantial amount of stuff they're putting on this thing. That might not run extremely long, but it seems like they're at least putting on a good, solid effort to put in good packages, extras here for people to be enticed to go check it out. It's been on digital for a number of weeks at this point in time, since it kind of fizzled out at the box office and didn't get a UK distribution, because distribution partner for Universal kind of dried up there and they couldn't get things out over there. So that thing's probably only not even going to get a theatrical release over there. So if you want to check it out, I definitely implore you to check out the Blu-ray or wait for my review next week that I hope to produce. So anything like that. I thought it was a fairly good film that has some marks on it that are extremely good, but some things maybe not quite as good. So I'll definitely get into a much more lengthy discussion of that hopefully next week. But the A24 horror film, Talk to Me, which is being distributed by Lionsgate on physical media, is getting 4K release next week, along with Blu-ray and DVD and stuff like that. But there's also an Amazon exclusive 4K. It's going to have an additional Q&A session that was done with the filmmakers and stuff like that, which is only exclusive to that release. If you want that part of it, you'll have to get the one that's exclusive to Amazon, but everything else will include an audio commentary from the co-writer and director. And then there's going to be a featurette, deleted scenes, and a trailer on it. So not quite as packed as like the Voyage of Demeter one, but seems like for a very acclaimed horror film that I've been getting a lot of appeal to, especially a very good friend of mine says it's the scariest horror film she has seen this year and is putting a lot of stake behind it. So I'm very much interested to maybe check it out this weekend. Maybe I'll rent it on digital or whatnot and check it out, see if it's very much worthwhile for me to check it out on physical media and stuff like that. So I'm getting my interest peaked, so I will miss it in theaters. It's still in a couple of theaters here and there, but I'll probably check it out online or whatnot for streaming or whatnot, but it seems like a very good thing. So that's also coming out next Tuesday. And also another thing from Lionsgate, a really good one. Young Guns is getting its finally a 4K remaster from Lionsgate coming out on December 5th. And this is really great because I think the distribution rights on the two different Young Guns films kind of floated around between different companies over the years. I think Fox had one of them, and then there was some other person that had the other company that had distribution rights to the other one. So they didn't always land in the exact same places. But nice that Lionsgate is putting forth the effort for this one that I've been very, very interested to check it out. But now they're putting out a 4K remastered version where the included Blu-ray will also be from the remaster. So you're getting full thing. So that's very much good. They're going to have brand new featurettes along with the 4K Dolby Vision HDR presentation of the whole thing, new Dolby Atmos mix, and again, like I said, a brand new featurette with new interviews from cast and crew and stuff like that, plus all the legacy bonus features of audio commentaries, featurettes, trailers, TV spots, whatever the hell they got, all these interesting things. Plus there's a Best Buy exclusive release with art cards and various other things. I think they're doing a Steelbook through them as well, so very much all the way through on that whole thing. So I'm very much interested to check that film out finally, and maybe eventually the sequel. I'm much more familiar with the sequel to a certain degree because of the John Bon Jovi music video and stuff like that. I actually had the soundtrack because Blaze of Glory is such a great track and everything like that. So pretty much kind of interested to check things out because they seem like very good films I really should have seen by now. And so that would definitely maybe lay, if I have a good reaction to it, that may lay the ground for me to do a video on the entire film later on down the line. But that seems like a very interesting type of release to get behind and stuff like that. And also through Lionsgate, the Vestron Video Collector Series is putting out another piece in the series, which is Catherine Bigelow's Blue Steel, starring Jamie Lee Curtis and Ron Silver. And it's going to have a new audio commentary from a film historian, interview with the editor of the entire film. There's another film historian sort of interviews, featurette and whatnot. There's also one from the production designer, and also a video essay from film historian Chris O'Neill, of course, the regular trailers, TV spots, and stuff like that. So nothing from Bigelow herself. So it's kind of a little bit detriment on the whole thing, not really getting the main filmmaker involved in the whole thing. Of course, not even getting something from Jamie Lee Curtis as well, who's done plenty of interviews for like Screen Factory releases and stuff like that. So it feels like they maybe not putting as much money into the thing. It's probably not even like a remastered version. Usually they're not really remastered unless they've never had an HD version before on streaming or something else like that. So, but it's still interesting. I saw Blue Steel several years ago. I thought it was really good. Clancy Brown's even in the film, putting in a really solid performance as well. So it's a good film to check out. I definitely implore that. But another Catherine Bigelow film getting a new release is Point Break, getting the 4K treatment from Shout Studios in December. No specs have been announced. There's a lot of stuff they announced for December for Screen Factory and Shout Studios. They're going to run down here, but love Point Break. And I've always felt like that transfer really was in desperate need for a good upgrade. And I'm very much glad seeing a 4K release coming up very soon in this regard. But also from Shout Studios, we're also getting Clue getting a 4K upgrade. First one of its kind. And I'm very much interested to see how that's going to be handled on 4K because all the different endings, if they're going to randomize it like they did on the regular Blu-ray, or they're going to do some other things, or if they're going to also get some interesting extras and stuff like that. We'll see how things go. And also the Oliver Stone film, JFK, is getting the theatrical and the extended cut version of the entire thing put out on 4K as well through them. Plus the Leonardo DiCaprio film, The Man in the Iron Mask, also getting the 4K upgrade. But also moving on to Screen Factory, Dead Zone is getting that inevitable 4K version because they put out the remastered version about a year or so ago. And it was fantastic. I don't think I'm really going to just upgrade to the 4K just because it's a 4K now. I'm good, solid, happy with what I have. I don't need to spend another $30 just to get an upgrade from the same remaster with no other bonus features, stuff like that. I think what I have now in the previous one is good. It's weird how they keep doing that. It's okay, we'll put on the regular Blu-ray, then like a year or two afterwards, now we'll give you the 4K. It's like, why don't you just do the 4K outright and just save yourself the trouble of people having to double dip and kind of like, oh, well, I already got the version before, I'm not going to pay for that now. So it's like you're kind of like expending more cost than you really should, I think. I think you should, if you have the 4K remaster done, you should release it as a 4K. So playing this sort of game and whatnot, it's like, okay, well, in the Blu-ray now, then a year and a half later, well, we'll announce the 4K. It's like, well, why didn't you just do that outright? Now I'm just like, what am I going to do with this version? I'm going to sell it off and make half the money I had when I bought it and kind of put that towards the other thing that I paid the exact same amount for before. It's very kind of dicey in that regard. So me and Steve on the channel here have a little thing going on with the fact is they just keep re-upping everything to 4K. Everything put out before, just now on 4K, it's all the exact same bonus features. It's now 4K. So you're just recycling the same old stuff. You're not really putting a lot of new stuff in that regard into your catalog. You're just upgrading everything in that regard. But something new that you have is the Ring collection. All the American releases, all the American versions of the Ring films, The Ring, Ring 2, Ring, stuff like that. They're getting a 4K collection release. So that's at least something. I thought the original one is a very solid film with maybe a little overcomplicated plot or whatnot. You can check out our commentary to see a little bit more about how we deconstructed that film. But I think it definitely deserves a new upgrade in that regard because it was kind of a long time where it was only on like a replicated BDR disc or whatnot, and it was like a manufacturer on the demand thing, and was like not the best thing to get and stuff like that. It was fairly old transfer. I thought the sound mix on that Blu-ray was very weak. So hopefully they're doing a little work to kind of upgrade things to get a stronger sound mix and something else like that. We'll see when they actually announce specs for that type of stuff. But right now they just announced titles with dates. So all that stuff's hitting in December. Getting off in that regard, but They're also releasing pretty much next week again. They're doing another 4K upgrade on the Blob from Chuck Russell, which again, there's no new bonus features, and even though the packaging says it has Dolby Vision, it has not been announced as Dolby Vision, so there might be a printing error in that regard. It's supposed to only have HDR10 because Sony did all the remastering, so they probably only did a HDR10 grade and to do Dolby Vision because Sony does all the remasters in-house. They don't give other people access to like the negatives and stuff like that to go off and do it themselves. Sony likes to keep everything in-house and they kind of give the materials off to whoever licenses their materials, stuff like that. But also, Silver Bullet, which is coming out in December as well, is also getting a 4K upgrade with no specs announced yet, but it's just the fact it's going to be the same old stuff, just in 4K now. So, just the type of things. Like they just keep recycling and re-upping everything. And they're nice, mostly nice transfers and stuff like that, nice remasters. Would be nice if they actually got a lot more new titles in that regard, because again, getting stuff like Point Break and JFK and stuff like that, the Rings collection, it's nice to see that they're getting brand new, fresh titles, getting them from different licensors and stuff like that to kind of give them the proper upgrades they deserve. Been kind of sitting around for like 10 years or so with old Blu-rays and whatnot, so it's kind of nice to see that they're actually getting a few new titles here instead of constantly just upgrading the same old stuff, but they are still constantly upgrading the same old stuff. So it's just kind of milking more money out of people, or just satiating for those new 4K transfers. One thing of it was like they never remastered it, and it was come off of some old DVD master that was put on Blu-ray and stuff like that, and they're finally remastering. That's one thing. Like when they did with The Howling or something else like that. The old transfer looked pretty old, pretty unspectacular, whatnot, that they give the 4K version, and it looks wonderful now. So it's worth the upgrade because you're getting that big of a bump. But if you put out the remastered version on Blu-ray, then it's like so on and so on later on. It's just the exact same thing, just getting up at 4K with HDR. It just seems like it's a little pinching pennies for the entire audience and your fan base or whatnot, your consumer base. So criticism in that regard, but nice to see, again, Sony doing another thing that I saw was announced here, that the Brian De Palma film, Body Double, is getting a 4K upgrade. Now I have the Blu-ray release from Powerhouse Films, The Indicator Series 1, and it's packed with extras. I don't know if Sony's going to get even half this stuff on their entire release, but it was put forth, I believe that was from a remastered version. So it was put forth from a remastered picture and everything like that. It has all the wonderful audio options, tons of video essays and interviews and stuff like that. It's really fantastic. If you can get your hands on it, I definitely implore you to do so. But if you want to hold off for the 4K, see exactly what Sony grabs for the entire thing, gets back from some of these different licensors or whatnot, or if they're just going to kind of keep a lot of things in-house from whatever materials they have, we'll see about that. But they are doing that one in-house, not licensing it out this time. So it'll be interesting in that regard. But talking about someone, a studio that's doing the opposite of what Screen Factory does. They're not just replicating the same old stuff. They're constantly announcing brand new titles with 4K Dolby Vision masters, and that's Kino Lorber. They are the kings right now in my regard. They're just churning out some great stuff, getting great titles from different studios, getting stuff from, I think, Paramount, some stuff from Universal here and there. One of them is going to be Sea of Love, which I covered a couple of months ago on the channel here, the Al Pacino film with Ellen Barkin and John Goodman, stuff like that. They're giving that a 4K upgrade. Not dated yet, but they've announced that. Plus, Sneakers. Been waiting for this. I've been waiting so long for Sneakers to get a 4K upgrade. This has got Robert Redford and Sidney Poitier and Dan Aykroyd, a whole bunch of wonderful people in this whole thing. Great, great film from Phil Alden Robinson, who did Field of Dreams and The Sum of All Fears later on. Really solid filmmaker, really, really fun, interesting, cool film. Highly, highly implore you to check it out, but definitely wait for that 4K because it's got to be kicking it all out. And there's no date on that one, but again, it's going to have a brand new 4K transfer, HDR grading, Dolby Vision, all that type of stuff. So I was kind of thinking maybe this would eventually like come from like Shout Studios or something else like that. I felt like their type of style of film and whatnot, but I'm glad that Kino Lorber is getting it because they do immaculate work. Just fantastic, beautiful type of stuff across so many of their 4K releases. Great stuff in that regard. So they got so many things that have been announced for so many months. They'd be kind of like waiting around. It's like there's so much stuff they've announced, but they haven't dated it yet. So they're working a lot of stuff. And one of them is Face Off. They finally announced the Nick Cage, John Travolta, John Woo film. They finally announced it's going to release on December 12th with a new, again, 4K restoration with Dolby Vision, HDR grading, new audio commentary from film historians, plus all the legacy bonus features, including featurettes and deleted scenes and commentaries and stuff like that. So they're porting everything over from the old Paramount release and adding new stuff on top of it. So I know people have been waiting for this one for a long while because it's very much a well-regarded, even though it's a little over-the-top, a little kind of silly concept that way, but a lot of people just think it's one of John Woo's best American films in that regard. So cool thing in that regard, they're finally getting that up. And of course, the Monster Squad, being dated for November 28th, is finally coming out in 4K from them as well. And this one's been hotly anticipated because the Blu-ray's been out of print, I believe, for many, many years. I think Lionsgate had it, then they kind of had it off to like Olive Films for a number of years, and it just went out. But now, again, nice that Lionsgate is kicking up on the entire thing of licensing a lot of their stuff out. A lot of it's going over to Kino Lorber. So very much made a very nice deal there because they weren't really licensing stuff out for a very long time, but I think they just finally saw the lights like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff we could really be putting out and licensing that people make a little extra cash here and there from the licensing residuals and stuff like that here and there, sharing the profits. So very much good type of thing that they're kind of kicking in on that type of scene and whatnot. So they're putting everything in this thing. Again, Dolby Vision grade. They're going to have all the legacy bonus features, all the commentary tracks, the Monster Squad Forever stuff, and plus the Wolfman's Got Nars 2018 documentary. That's going to be on its own separate discs. There's going to be one 4K disc and two Blu-rays on the entire set. So they're packing it all in. All the stuff you had before, animated storyboards, various other things here and there, trailer galleries and TV spots, all that type of stuff, deleted scenes. It's all packing in here. So people are hotly waiting for this. They were hoping we would get it like a month earlier, but they couldn't really work it out, just like the timeline of events, to put everything together and master things properly and get things done. We don't want to rush these things. If they're doing great work, don't rush them to the point. So just going to wait a little bit past Halloween and whatnot, but it's definitely going to be worth the wait, I believe, 100%. I think it's really fantastic. I did a video on this thing very, very long ago, but it was really a wonderful thing from Fred Decker. You got Stan Winston involved, Shane Black, a lot of just fantastic talents involved in the entire making that film. It's great. Fantastic. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And Warner Brothers, the one thing I have to talk about Warner Brothers is that they announced that The Fugitive is coming to 4K on November 21st. Now, it had some things back and forth about Warner Brothers this year, how good their stuff has been, how kind of problematic a lot of the releases have been. But this remaster was overseen by director Andrew Davis. I think Andrew Davis is a very consummate filmmaker who does have an eye for detail, so I think it would definitely be scrutinous over this entire remaster process to make sure it's absolutely perfect. And the previous remaster Blu-ray from several years ago looks wonderful. So if this thing's going to top even that, I'm very much enthused about that whole thing. And of course, we're getting all the same bonus features over from the previous releases, the stunt featurettes, all the different things about the audio commentary between Davis and Tommy Lee Jones, and various other things. So great type of stuff. And again, just Warner Bros. Only does HDR10 for almost all of their recent discs. They don't put Dolby Vision on the disc; they put it on the streaming version. So that's kind of a debatable type of thing that they keep doing that when a lot of their companies are kind of going towards much with the Dolby Vision stuff in certain places. So I think Sony does a lot of stuff where they kind of reissue their discs with a Dolby Vision upgrade in that regard. So Sony's pretty much good on that type of stuff, the technical end of things, make sure you're getting the best punch for everything with the Dolby Vision grading and stuff like that. But certain other studios are a little restrained on that regard, so it's kind of a unfortunate thing. But at least this is going to be, I think it's 30th anniversary for The Fugitive and whatnot, our Academy Award nominated film. Tommy Lee Jones winning for Best Supporting Actor. The entire film was fantastic. Various other things. Me and Trent did a commentary on the film a couple of years ago, which was really a great discussion on the whole thing. So very much implore you to check that out. But I think these are all very, very exciting releases coming up. Despite you have, again, like I said, the kind of criticism for Screen Factory just kind of recycling a lot of things, just putting them up on 4K, and that's about all they do, and they charge about $35 for everything, and just things in that regard. So I'm a little more hesitant to do those type of things instead of the ones that are kind of getting like brand new, fresh type of things that we haven't seen before, getting like a world of difference on the entire 4K, and throwing in a few other things here, including one that I'm very much interested in. It's the fact that the last one I'm talking about here is from Vinegar Syndrome. It is the Prophecy 4K Trilogy Collection. The first three ones, starring Christopher Walken, are getting that upgrade. And they've announced the fact they've got a number of exclusive featurettes coming out in this thing, which is being released on Black Friday. Now, they had like this flash pre-sale type of thing with like a It was billed as like an exclusive discount, which apparently wasn't that much of a discount. It was maybe like a couple bucks, or the whole thing was going to cost you over $60 plus the shipping. They don't give you free shipping, so you're taking like another $5 worth of shipping on top of it. So I was like, nah, I really can't. I can't justify paying this much like 2 months in advance of the things coming out and getting charged up for the entire thing. I couldn't do that, but I'm very much anticipating this whole thing. I think they are getting, double check here, they are getting 5.1 surround sound of the whole thing, but nothing about HDR grading or if they're getting Dolby Vision or something else like that. But the fact is, the transfer that's currently around for the First Prophecy is just fucking trash. It looks like an old Laserdisc master they slapped on a fucking Blu-ray, and it's just fucking no good. Even the box set release that was put out in Australia recently, which has all new bonus features and interviews and stuff like that, still uses the same old masters. So it's like, no, I'm not buying this with the same old crap on it. I need a brand new version of this thing, and Vinegar Syndrome is making good on that. I believe they're like Diabolic DVD and a few other sort of retailers do carry their stuff, so you might want to keep your eye out for different sites maybe kind of carrying this if they might have a little bit of a discounted price over the direct Vinegar Syndrome price. So keep your eyes out. I'll keep my eye out as well because I'm very much interested in getting this set, but I was going to pay almost $70 for the entire thing for 2 months in advance and not getting anything until like almost December or whatnot. So I thought it was a little too much to pay up front. So they're going to have like a custom box and the whole thing. They're going to have a whole bunch of different things. So it's going to be very much an all-out type of thing. It's not like I'm getting meager pieces for the entire cost, but it was definitely a big cost. So I'm just going to wait that out and wait until Black Friday and make my purchase then and see what else goes on in that regard. But I'm very much excited for that release in general. So guys, let me know what you thought about all these releases coming up in due time. Some stuff very soon, some a little bit more further out, but all the stuff is coming up by the end of the year. So let me know how you feel about all this type of stuff, what's going on in the pre-orders, what are you kind of going up on the wish list and stuff like that. So let me know, guys. Thanks much. Keep watching. Hit the like buttons, comment, subscribe, all that type of stuff. So stick around. Take care. Bye-bye.